What's up YouTube, it's Maestro, and in today's video I'm going to be going over pretty much a brief walkthrough of the MKSensation plugin from gospel musicians. Now this plugin has been one of my favorite plugins recently since I've transitioned to a more software setup when it comes to playing weighted keys. Again, I still have my North Stage 4 sitting back there, but when it comes to playing weighted keys and I just want just piano, nothing else, then my new iPad setup is that, and the MKSensation Xtreme from Gospel Musicians is one of the best plugins that I've ever used. So I'm going to go over a little bit of how to use that in this next clip. Alright guys, so this is the MKSensation Xtreme plugin from Gospel Musicians. Right here we have the MKS out of the box sounds. Let's see if we can turn that down some. So, out of the box, what we're going to do is go over a few things. So, when you're connecting, say, your keyboard to the, scratch that, we're going to go all the way from the beginning. So, when you first go into the MKS Xtreme, you're going to be presented to the settings menu. Now, you're also going to be presented to the downloads menu. Now, you're going to want to download the factory sounds first, and then you'll be presented to purchase the any other expansions that they have available. So what we have is the Clarity Grand, the free EP, 2 patches. We have the MKSensation factory content. We also have the Micro Grand, which is a purchasable expansion. We have the Upright, which is a purchasable expansion, and then you have your own user presets that you create. So right after you download the factory content, and if you purchase any expansions, you'll be able to pretty much get started just playing anything actually. Pretty much a wide array of different patches, EPs, and things of that sort available. Now, when it comes to creating your own patches, this is where it gets fun, okay? So what I'm actually going to show you is this. So you have 8 different sounds that you can stack up, create different patches with. Of those 8 sounds, you also have 8 different panels up top. So you have sound 1, sound 2, sound 3, sound 4, sound 5, sound 6, sound 7, and sound 8. And within those sounds, you also have different controls available to you, different filters available to you, and different settings that you can do for each sound. Now you have your mixer to the right, and this allows you to pretty much adjust the volume to those sounds. So if I press the keys, you don't have anything. But once I bring it up, you do have sound for each of those sounds. can adjust the volume for anything I want. Okay. So if you want to say mute certain sounds, or you want to not use certain sounds within those patches, all you have to do is press the pad for each of those sounds, and you will not have anything coming through. All right. Now you can also simply click the red LED light on each pad, and that'll also mute it as well. Now, another option that you have available to you, if you want, you can also click the green LED light, and that'll solo certain patches, certain sounds within that patch. And I do apologize if the volume of the sounds are a little bit too loud. I'm working with some adjustments when it comes to the recording. Now, you do have different things. You have effects. You have split, where you can split the keyboard from top to bottom. I really don't utilize the split function too much because it's not necessary for my type of playing. Again, you do have your settings. So within your settings, for me, I'm using the SL Mark II. So if we go to the audio, we can actually change that to, this will be the SL73 Mark II, but since I'm doing the screen recording, it's using a different program. Now your MIDI settings will be here. Then you have your MIDI channel settings here. Now, so for your effects, each sound can have its own effect. You can have EQs, chorus, reverb, delays. Then you also have your global and your master effect that you can apply to the entire patch itself. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to show you guys how to create your own patch. So we're going to actually go to initialize. We'll go to default. So we don't have anything but a sine available. So if you want to choose a sound for this specific layer, if you want to call it that, we'll hit where it says sine. We'll click that, and in the expansions that we have available, so for this one we'll do the factory content. We can go into acoustic pianos, choose a piano. Now we have a piano for here. So let's say this is our first sound that we want for a patch. We'll do basic piano EP setup. What we're going to want to do is we hear that we don't want any of that click that we have, and that's due to the release. So we're going to actually go into amp. We're going to turn the amp all the way up. Now at the top you do see this little bar. That is your velocity bar. So that means we cannot play soft too much with this, right? So what we want to do is bring that down just a little bit. And we're going to bring up the release just slightly so we don't have too much click or too little of a release or cut off. All right. We still have a little bit of that click. So what I'm going to do is actually bring up the attack just a little bit. I don't want a soft attack with the piano, but I also don't want a hard attack to where it's like a clipping sound. So we're going to bring that down just a little bit more. Next, we're going to want to layer a different sound. So what we're going to do is bring down all of our mix faders, and we're going to pretty much enable layer 2. So to choose the sound for layer 2, we're going to go to layer 2. We'll click sound. It's initialized with a sine wave, so we're going to go back to MKSensations, and we're going to, let's see what we want to use. I want to use if I can find the EP2, that's what I want to use. There we go. And so we'll do EP2B chorus. Now, one thing I will mention, I've posted in a couple comments of people who have mentioned this before. With certain sounds, especially with the EP sounds, some of the piano sounds have it as well. You will notice there is a slight static noise when playing, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me see. So for this EP, right? If we go to effects, we're going to go to sound 2. We're going to hold effects, go to EQ. What you're going to want to do is EQ out the 4 kilohertz range right here. And then you can EQ out just a little bit of that 6 kilohertz range, not too much. And that's going to pretty much solve your static problem. So now, when we mix it with the C grand, now we have this. Okay. Now, say we like this, we want to save this as our own. Okay, two things. Say we have this set up, right? So this particular EP that I've EQ'd, that I've took that static away, and I want to be able to say, okay, I like the way I have this set up. I want to use this in other patches. What you want to do is within that sound itself, we'll click save. This will save as its own user bank within the sound selection. This will not be a default patch selection. This will be a default sound selection. So we'll say EP chorus. We'll hit OK. Now, say we go to sound 3. We'll hold here. So we can do two things. We can go to sine. We'll go out, and we'll go to. You actually have to hold where it says sine. You have sub sound presets, user bank, and then we have EP2 chorus. Now that same effect is still there here, sound 3. So now if we want to save the patch itself, we're going to go to where it says default. We'll say save. We'll say gospel patch. Hit OK. Now if we go out and say we go to initialize to a default and we want to load in that patch, we'll go here, user presets, user bank, and actually we'll go into, it's saved under the gospel bank for me, and we'll go to gospel patch. Now we got it. comes to, that's really the basis of choosing your sounds, setting up your sounds. But to go over that again, if you want to load in or save your specific sound as its own preset, you're just gonna go to the sound itself, hold where it says C grand next to sound one, save it as, or actually, sorry, click save next to the sound you want. It'll save as its own sub preset sound, so you can actually recall that later. Now, other settings that you have, again, I mentioned the amp. Now, the amp envelope knob pretty much makes it to where pretty much a lot of the settings that you have within the attack, hold, decay, sub, sustain, release, even the velocity doesn't take an effect until you bring it all the way up to 100. See that? See? Now you also have your control where you can mess with your model wheel, make and any adjustments there. You do have your filter. Now what this does, it pretty much makes it to where the sound doesn't really, it pretty much filters out the sound. Now what I use this for specifically, I use this pretty much tailored to pads and strings, things that you may have a pad that it sounds not abrasive, but it's too like wide, and that cutoff with the filter kind of brings it back, pretty much making it more lush, more subtle pad sound. I'll show you what I mean. So say with this one, we want to go to sound 3. We want to go MKSensations. We want to go to strings and pads. We'll go to pads. Let's see. Let's choose the bath pad. So for this one, we have. Now you see how naturally that's more open. If we add in the filter effect, we can bring that down some. What we're also going to do is go to the amp envelope and bring the release up a little bit. Right? So now what we have is this. See? Now, if you want, say we want to add some reverb to the master, we can. We'll go to reverb, we'll go to fantasy verb, put the dry up a little bit. So now. Alright. And that pretty much sums up how to use the MKSensations plugin. Again, you could do the split function where you have, let's see, we could do sound 1. We can bring that down here. So pretty much with the split function, you're going to pretty much point or set a point in where you want certain sounds to be used and certain sounds not. So this is good if you want a bass split, or if you have like a bell sound that you don't want used throughout the entire keyboard, you can set that as well. All right. So we'll go back to edit and go to sound. And that's pretty much it. Again, if you want to, say you have two, again, remember I mentioned using the SL73 and the North Stage 4 as both MIDI. So both of those can be connected. So say with that, I can pretty much say sound 1, I want the SL73 to utilize certain sounds with this MIDI channel, and then I want the North Stage 4 to utilize sound 2 for MIDI channel 1. Sorry, sound 2 MIDI channel 2 for the North Stage 4, sound 1 MIDI channel 1 for the SL73. You can do that as well. Again, this plugin, man, it's amazing. There's a lot of different settings, a lot of different things that you can do. It's pretty much endless to use. You really don't need another plugin, honestly, if you have this, especially as a gospel musician. You have just a crazy amount of different sounds available to you. This is one of my favorites, which is the analog fresh sound. All right. So I hope this video helped you guys out tremendously. Again, I wanted to do a pretty much a nice overview on one, how to use the MKSensations as a musician, and two, how I also use it as well. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to you guys, get to them as soon as I can. I appreciate you guys for watching all my videos. All the support, all the comments, all the likes, and all the shares are tremendously welcome, and I'm thankful to you guys for it. If you are looking for any sound libraries for your Yamaha Mod X, Nord Stage 4, Stage 3, Nord Electro, the new Roland V Stage keyboard as well, or the Yamaha Mod X, head over to maestroworld.com. Check out our sound libraries available. I'll be doing a couple presets as well into the MKSensations, as well as other plugins that I'll be using for the iPad, so stay tuned for that. Also, I'll be putting a link in the description as well, where you can get the iPad, the SL73, pretty much every plugin that I'm using as well. I'll put it in the description again. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.